I was involved in a close near-death experience. Really, it was kind of traumatic. We were filming the scene where the hobbits run to the Brandywine Bridge and get on the ferry. And we were rehearsing, running very fast, as we could, down this wooden bridge, and then jumping onto the ferry.
And then on one of the times, as we ran down to get to the ferry, Dom got a wooden splinter through his foot.
An amazingly tough splinter, I think probably made of titanium.
You think somebody cut his leg off? The sweat was pouring off him.
You know, like every time I put pressure on my foot, it was just an excruciating pain, like going up my foot.
I thought he was going to pass out at one point, and everybody thought it was something really, really kind of serious.
And I was saying to all the boys, I was saying to Elijah and Sean and Billy, I said, you've got to come over and see them take this splinter out, because it's going to be a whopper, you know. It's going to be like this big, and I'm going to get it framed.
And they take out this tiny splinter, and I was like, I cannot believe you made that fuss over that splinter.
I kept it. I kept the splinter. Still got it.
So after that, whenever like Dom did something, he'd start sweating. If anything happened, is that a splinter? Are you okay? And he'd be like, "Wah."
Shortly afterwards, we had to go to another location, which was in the Remarkables in Queenstown, by a lake, to shoot a scene.
Well, Sean absolutely did not want to fly, and said, "Look, I'll take the ski lift up, and then I'll walk the rest of the way."
We shot there for 2 or 3 days, and our day would begin with everybody flying in the helicopters. And as we flew over at 7:30 in the morning, we'd look down, and there'd be this tiny black speck climbing the cliff. It was almost like a cliff face, and it was Sean Bean dressed up as Boromir, like a human fly on the wall, clambering up this mountainside all by himself to sort of get to the location, because he didn't want to go there on a chopper. He had like 2 hours of climbing to do.
They used to see me from the helicopter, you know, and I was sweating at the end. It was like a real adventure getting over that sort of mountain to get to the set, but I preferred doing it that way.
You know, that we have, there's always a danger of people getting hurt. I mean, you obviously take every possible precaution that you can, but you know, people do get hurt. Fortunately, on the film, we never had any particularly serious injuries. Not really serious, although one of the worst ones actually happened to Sean Astin. And it was a relatively simple shot where Sean had to be on the shore of the lake, and he had to run out to the boat.
I'm running at a dead sprint, and I get in, and my left foot and as my right foot lands about 2 feet in the water, just this huge sharp pain, and I grabbed onto the side of the boat, and I just looked down, and it hurt so bad.
Let's sit him down and have a look at his foot. Marky, where are you? Let's sit him down and have a look at his foot. You want to sit on the bench, or you want to sit on a chair?
His foot had virtually been completely impaled on this shard of glass.
When they took the prosthetic off, it was a big, old, deep gash in the foot. I mean, it was a substantial cut.
Doing the same action again.
Oh my God!
It's a lot of blood, man. Mike will get a
It's a lot of blood.
Probably gonna need a bit.
There was this sort of globular thing, this mass that came out of the slit in his foot, that I was fascinated with.
Master Frodo can play with my clots anytime he wants to.
I'm fascinated by his blood clot.
We were a good hour, an hour and a half's drive out of Te Anau. It was a long way. It was quite remote. We called for a chopper to come in because we knew we needed to get him to a hospital very, very quickly because there was a lot of bleeding.
So the helicopter guy came out, and we jumped in, and it was Jacques Cousteau's pilot, the guy who had flown Jacques Cousteau around on some of his expeditions, which I thought was really cool.
Boats, as beautiful as they are were pretty, pretty tippy. They were kind of flimsy in a way. And because of the scale issue, it was Kieran Shaw, was Frodo. And I remember that when we did the wide shot, we were really moving down that river. And Kieran, we're doing the first take, and Kieran's going, Vigo, don't worry about me. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm trying to talk without moving my lips, you know, because and he goes, well, if we flip over, I said, we're not going to flip over. And he goes, if we flip over, just save yourself. I can't swim. I said, what? You know, I couldn't believe it. And then I got really nervous. You know, like if someone's watching you driving, you start overcoming. And I was like, every eddy now became fraught with, you know, possibility. And after that take, I said, you're kidding, right? And he goes, no, I'm even afraid to take a bath. I'm like, Jesus.
There's a study you want to fight Vigo because you know he'll give it as much as you will, and he'll take it as well. And when you're in a fight with him, you feel like you're in a real scrap.
He doesn't do the pain thing. He doesn't seem to acknowledge it, you know. And I do. He does things like he headbutts you when he meets you.
Every time we would see him, we would give him, you know, shake the hand, then give a little headbutt.
Went to such an extreme that it became, you know, a daily ritual.
We'd be in the bar having a drink and cheers, V, and he'd be having whack, and now I'm one of the stunties. I'm like, okay, well, you didn't have to do that, though, mate.
It was a sort of really ridiculous, fantastically foolish idea to walk up to one another, clasp the face of the opposite person, say something sweet and endearing, and then smash your head against theirs.
I don't know where that comes from. It's you know what, I think it's like, it's spontaneous violent love, is what I think it is.
We were at a bar one night having a quiet drink, and Orlando was outside talking to someone, and he came inside and said, and Vigo whispers to me, Sulla, go grab Orlando and headbutt him. I says, oh, nah, I don't want to do that. He's like, just thought it'd be fun. And so I was sort of a bit iffy about doing it, but no, I went over and grabbed him. I said, hey, Orlando, how you doing? Some good things. And I just grabbed him and it went, whack.
White light. And I was thinking I might never see it again.
But I think he enjoyed it.
It wasn't the best thing to do because I think we got in trouble from the makeup artist. He had a little red spot on his head.
And he had that, you know, perfect, pale, elven complexion, and this thing on his head. And so they had another drink. I think they did it to him once more, and then they realized they had to wait and break him in slowly.
Now, every time I see him, I see the white light.
It does seem silly now, in retrospect, that, you know, a bunch of grown men going around headbutting each other, and anywhere they encountered each other, in Wellington or New Zealand, or even here. I mean, I've certainly done it here, or at the premiere in Los Angeles or London. When I saw Sala, bam, immediately.